All right, let's walk through this build. This is that 394 I tore down a couple of weeks ago. And just for reference, I mean, if you guys really get in here and look, I didn't get every last crumb of dust. I did have to do some touch-up paint. This area right here was repaired, magnesium welded, and kind of reformed, reshaped. Anyway, it's a good, strong structural repair, but it's not a common. It's a common break on these. You know, there's just not a whole lot of meat right there. Brand hammer new bearings, OEM seals, OEM gasket. I use Nachi bearings. The Japanese make nice stuff. Seal install tool. Did have a slight ledge right here and just got that cleaned up. I dry fit those cases. Same thing, just touch up paint. There's some overspray, but that's going to be covered. This isn't, you know, going to go into a showroom. This is actually going to go back to work. But this case was so nasty, and the muffler will be on top of that, so nobody will see that. The rest of this stuff's cleaned up pretty nice. So it'll look okay when it's fully assembled, but here's what I started with. I mean, you look at the level of dirt. So I just left it outside, degrease it, let it soak, spray it off, degrease it, spray it off, degrease it, spray it off. This went on for a week, and I finally said that's about as good as it's going to get. So I got some brake cleaner out and some compressed air and got the rest of the ugly stuff off. I'm hoping with this huge pile of parts over here that's going to be a running chainsaw here pretty soon. Got my fingers crossed. We'll see. Boy, Clark, this right here is a gift that just keeps on giving. Anyway, the carburetor that was with this, hold on. That's a little crispy. That's supposed to be like tissue paper. Anyway, I've got a carb kit. Wonder how that ran. The internal screen is completely clogged. But anyway, hopefully I'm gonna give that a quick soak and in the ultrasonic cleaner and see if we can't rattle anything that got past that screen. The cylinder, I did just widen the ports. And this isn't ported. This is just, you know, there was a ton of carbon in there, cleaned it up. I did widen the port and reshape it just a little bit, cinch you was kind of thing. Let's see. Had to grind off a little bit of the corner of the crankshaft. I did not notice when I got this, there was no nut on here, and at some point in time, the crankshaft threads got damaged. It's good to go. It was also missing a starter pawl, and I went ahead and put 2 new starter pawls on there. So I had to come up with a spring, the small washer that was underneath there. And I actually had those on hand. I can't believe it. But this is going painfully slow for something that really should have just been, you know, a couple hours of throwing a table full of parts together to make a chainsaw. There. It's lunchtime, and I don't normally drink during the day. It's just, I hope you can feel the tension. Oh my God, what a nightmare. No wonder why I've been avoiding this for a while. Let's see, this was the old coil wire. It's killed. I've got a new one. I'm pretty sure that every component on here needs love, you know, for what's not going back brand hammer new. All right, get back to it. Okay, the suffering continues. Finally started to make some forward progress. We did re-ring this. I did clean the carbon off the top of the piston. There's a light film of oil on the cylinder. There you go. I'm using anaerobic gasket maker. It works for me. You can use whatever floats your boat. Make sure that's on there nice. A little wiggle. There's your top end. Bolts are already installed. Just nice and easy. Get it back started. this little Makita doesn't have a ton of torque, I will go back and hand torque those bolts and make sure I say click when it sounds just right. The paint's almost over. I've climbed through every screw, box, and everything else I can find. Chain tensioner is new. New studs on the muffler. Had to add a couple bolts here. New top handle, new AV. Let's see. I had already rebuilt the starter housing. New clutch drum, new rim sprocket. That is an aftermarket clutch. We'll see how that does. And looks like I'm gonna be missing an air filter for this. But we're gonna go crank it up and see if I can't get it to run rev and idle next. All right, let's give this a shot. I've already tried this once. There was some profanity involved, so this is take two. All right, this godforsaken thing has got to wait for another day. I spent an entire day on this saw, and that doesn't happen. I do this every day for a living. Anyway, go back and we'll pressure and vacuum test it, and I have a feeling that the carburetor is rough. I had an old one sitting in a box with a fresh kit in it, and I've still got a finicky non-idle issue. I mean, it's possible I got a vacuum leak, but everything went together on the bottom end nicely, so I'm not concerned about that, I don't think. Anyway, so that wraps this up. To be continued.